The Greek Revival facade facing Great Russell Street is a characteristic building of Sir Robert Smirke, with 44 columns in the Ionic order, 45 feet 14 meters high, closely based on those of the Temple of Athena Polias at Priene in Asia Minor. The pediment over the main entrance is decorated by sculptures by Sir Richard Westmacott depicting the progress of civilization, consisting of 15 allegorical figures. Installed in 1852. The construction commenced around the courtyard with the east wing, the King's Library, in 1823 to 1828, followed by the north wing in 1833 to 1838, which originally housed among other galleries a reading room, now the Welcome Gallery. Work was also progressing on the northern half of the west wing. The Egyptian Sculpture Gallery, 1826 to 1831, with Montague House demolished in 1842 to make room for the final part of the west wing, completed in 1846, and the south wing with its great colonnade, initiated in 1843 and completed in 1847. When the front hall and great staircase were opened to the public. The museum is faced with Portland stone, but the perimeter walls and other parts of the building were built using Haytor granite from Dartmoor in South Devon, transported via the unique Haytor granite tramway. In 1846, Robert Smirke was replaced as the museum's architect by his brother Sidney Smirke, whose major addition was the round reading room 1854 to 1857. At 140 feet, 43 meters in diameter, it was then the second widest dome in the world, the Pantheon in Rome being slightly wider. Quote, the next major addition was the White Wing 1882 to 1884, added behind the eastern end of the south front, the architect being Sir John Taylor. In 1895, Parliament gave the museum trustees a loan of £200,000 to purchase from the Duke of Bedford all 69 houses which backed onto the museum building in the 5 surrounding streets: Great Russell Street, Montague Street, Montague Place, Bedford Square and Bloomsbury Street. The trustees planned to demolish these houses and to build around the west, north and east sides of the museum new galleries that would completely fill the block on which the museum stands. The architect Sir John James Burnet was petitioned to put forward ambitious long-term plans to extend the building on all 3 sides. Most of the houses in Montague Place were knocked down a few years after the sale. Of this grand plan, only the Edward VII galleries in the centre of the north front were ever constructed. These were built 1906–14 to the design by J. Burnet, and opened by King George V and Queen Mary in 1914. They now house the museum's collections of prints and drawings and Oriental antiquities. There was not enough money to put up more new buildings, and so the houses in the other streets are nearly all still standing. The Duveen Gallery, sited to the west of the Egyptian, Greek and Assyrian sculpture galleries, was designed to house the Elgin marbles by the American Beaux-Arts architect John Russell Pope. Although completed in 1938, it was hit by a bomb in 1940 and remained semi-derelict for 22 years, before reopening in 1962. Other areas damaged during World War II bombing included: in September 1942, unexploded bombs hit the Edward VII galleries. The King's Library received a direct hit from a high-explosive bomb. Incendiaries fell on the dome of the round reading room but did little damage. On the night of 10 to the 11th of May 1941, several incendiaries fell on the southwest corner of the museum, destroying the book stack and 150,000 books in the courtyard and the galleries around the top of The Great Staircase. This damage was not fully repaired until the early 1960s. Quote, "The Queen Elizabeth II Great Court is a covered square at the centre of the British Museum designed by the engineers Burrough Happold and the architects Foster and Partners. The Great Court opened in December 2000 and is the largest covered square in Europe. The roof is a glass and steel construction, built by an Austrian steelwork company, with 1,656 uniquely shaped panes of glass. At the centre of the Great Court is the Reading Room vacated by the British Library. Its functions now moved to St Pancras. The Reading Room is open to any member of the public who wishes to read there. Today, the British Museum has grown to become one of the largest museums in the world, covering an area of over 92,000 meters to 990,000 square ft, in addition to 21,600 meters to 232,000 square ft of on-site storage space, and 9,400 meters to 101,000 square ft of external storage space. Altogether, the British Museum showcases on public display less than 1% of its entire collection. Approximately 50,000 items. There are nearly 100 galleries open to the public, representing 2 miles, 3.2 kilometers, of exhibition space, although the less popular ones have restricted opening times. However, the lack of a large temporary exhibition space led to the £135 million World Conservation and Exhibitions Centre to provide one and to concentrate all the museum's conservation facilities into one centre. This project was announced in July 2007, with the architects Rogers Stirk Harbour and Partners. It was granted planning permission in December 2009 and was completed in time for the Viking exhibition in March 2014. In 2017, the World Conservation and Exhibitions Centre was shortlisted for the Sterling Prize for Excellence in Architecture. Blythe House in West Kensington is used by the museum for off-site storage of small and medium-sized artifacts, and Frank's House in East London is used for storage and work on the early prehistory, Paleolithic and Mesolithic, and some other collections.